few things she wants to counter. I said, hey, counter again. Whatever you want to counter, go ahead and counter. Let's see what we can do. First, number one, the artist cannot sign for, like you mentioned, the Marco Creku conversation. He cannot sign for 5 years. He will sign for only 2 years. And number two, per every project, you're supposed to make sure you spend an amount of $150,000. Yeah, that's what they are countering. Number three, on the digital space, the artist is entitled to 60% of whatever streams we get. 60% the artist, 40% the label. I said, hey, okay. 4. Now I'm saying it so people don't, because I've heard people. Sometimes you have to let it out. 4. Shows. I mean, that's mechanical. Right? Wherever he goes, not mechanical. Performance. Yeah. Wherever he goes, wherever show. Okay. So the label has 60%. He has 40%. I mean, there are other few things in there. I think I sent to you, which obviously.
You looking at your WhatsApp? No, you've sent me some things. I haven't checked them out.
So obviously, it was absurd. It was something we couldn't run with.
Adolfo Yamakwaba Ediba Vimbas TV. So just a few days ago, and Kaywa, award-winning Ghanaian music producer, any prophet of God, out in an interview Mr. Drew, any Lasmid especially, Amani Broken Heart. Na Kaywa ubi ye ka music producers in Ghana, or ye ubi a waji dimpa, a lot of musicians Juma Castro, Girl Songs, Yaobe, Creamy, Mr. Drew, any Lasmid are just a few artists of the Lota or Niomaye Juma. Na Kaywa, during the interview, Mr. Drew, he left his highly spiritual label peacefully after and a contract expire. Now, or further explaining, on the part of Lasmid, after or invested a lot of money in him or blow Lasmid, skirmishes be eddy free, nehoa. Sa particular act money broken heart. Or say Lasmid call man a contract. Say on go through review. Say nebe on best sign na BBRE documented by paper, not verbally as it used to na or bois Lasmid. Na Lasmid ready or to say na money free the label. So a lot of people in a bash in a recent interview with Andy Dusty on Hit FM, Kaywa Etonebo explaining what actually transpired. And the fact say a contractor or the man Lasmid was fair. Now so the lawyers counter and too harsh for him. So therefore he had to let Lasmid go. Or say Lasmid lawyers now more request he say anytime drop a project $150,000 sika was pushy into promoting that particular song. Or say instead of Lasmid signing for 5 years on his label, Lasmid lawyers opted signing for 2 years only. Revenue wise, say dropping na sika ba. Or say Lasmid say or 60%. Na label director, producers, road manager, na hunyama shem 40%. And lastly, or see, sika beba from shows. Lasmid say or no 40% from that money na label and for 60%. Among others, Kaywa said that particular condition with the man was too harsh, so therefore he had to wash his hands peacefully from Lasmid or wishing well. Mubienko tie the oka on Hit FM during an interview with Andy Dusty.
After he won the MTN Hitmaker, MTN gave him to me for 1 year. We signed a contract for 1 year to release 2 songs, 2 videos, and promote 2 songs and 2 videos, of course, with 40,000 CDs.
MTN?
Yeah.
40,000?
No, that was what we're giving to almost everybody.
Okay, as a winner of the competition.
Yes.
Okay.
And so we did that, and he himself knew that the kind of investment we put in there was even more than that very, amount that was released. Moving forward, now, after the 1 year contract, yes, he had 2 songs out there. They were doing well, but it looked like, he wanted to move on, like go on more with me. And so it was tough because almost every day you'll see him in the studio. And around that time, there was a lot of tension. Drew was coming up. Drew was doing very well. Creamy, very well. And I remember we had a couple of meetings, and conversation was that you are using our money to take care of this artist. His time is over and stuff like that. But I knew the potential he had. And so I called him and I said, listen, it's tough. And I've done this over and over. But what I want to do, because you see, the fact that I'm the owner of a company doesn't mean I run everything. I have people who say no, yes. So what I'm going to do with you is that let's start pushing your stuff. I will personally put in an investment. Let's start pushing it. Let's get you somewhere. At least when you have a hit song, nobody will complain. None of the artists will say, why are you focusing on him? He's not part of it again and all that. And so then we can sign an official contract so we can move from there. He was excited. Like I mentioned, Jacob was present. He was excited about it. And then we started working, pushing money, resources. There were times I'll bother the DJs, personally move songs around just to push the songs. We started with first song, second song, third song, fourth song Friday night, boom, it was everywhere. And so now back to the drawing board. Okay, so now everybody was excited. Drew, Jeezy, now the guys. So let's now put him on the label and move. He was even Charlie Papa, the contract, let's sign and move on. I said, no, take your time. Go through the contract.
He was
excited.
He was rather asking you.
He kept asking, when should we sign the contract?
So could it be that you delayed it?
No, I gave him a contract to go through the contract. Don't just sign. I mean, and I say this to every artist. Don't just take a contract and sign. Go through it. Let a lawyer go through the contract and check every space. Because there are some clauses, if you use your normal English, you may fail. All right? He understands better than a word. So go through, let a lawyer check for you. So we started the journey. So I thought it was going to maybe take 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. First 3 months, we are waiting for contract to be signed. You ask him, he says, we are still looking into it. I said, no problem. We will not stop working. We kept waiting 6 months. Okay. Then he started bringing some few things out he thought we could do for him. And I told the management, whatever he needs, whatever he wants, do it for him. So they took stuff out. They added stuff. He wanted his own YouTube space, YouTube account. Whatever he wanted, I said, do it. And they did everything. So ready to sign. I called him one day. I said, oh yeah. My father even wants to be part of the signing. And so my father says, we should wait when he comes. I said, no, we'll wait. Then we released a new song because we couldn't also wait because we were running. Yes. We're still waiting. We're still waiting for father to come. Father is not coming. Suddenly he says, he has some lawyers who are still going through the contract and they'll get back to us. And I said, you have lawyers from where? I said, from US, some 2 lawyers. I said, okay.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, that's what we want. Take your time and work with the lawyers. Lawyers never showed up. And we had to release the video for Running because we had shot a very good video for it. Moving forward, the next conversation I hear is that there's an email in our on Highly Spiritual Music platform, and then I had to go through it. Then a lawyer introduces herself as Lasmid's lawyer, and she's from Nigeria, and she's gone through the contract. But there are some few things she wants to counter. I said, hey, counter again. Whatever you want to counter, go ahead and counter. Let's see what we can do. First, number one, the artist cannot sign for, like you mentioned, the Michael Creekwood conversation. He cannot sign for 5 years. He will sign for only 2 years. And number two, per every project, you're supposed to make sure you spend an amount of $150,000. Yeah, that's what they are countering. Number three, on the digital space, the artist is entitled to 60% of whatever streams we get. 60% the artist, 40% the label. I said, hey, Okay. 4. Now I'm saying it so people don't, because I've heard people, sometimes you have to let it out. 4. Shows. I mean, that's mechanical, right? Wherever he goes. Not mechanical, performance. Yeah. Wherever he goes, wherever show. Okay. So the label has 60%, he has 40%. I mean, there are other few things in there I think I sent to you. Which obviously...
I'm looking at your WhatsApp. No, you've sent me some things. I haven't checked them out.
So obviously, it was absurd. It was something we couldn't run with. So we said, listen, I mean, what you're trying to say is the obvious. And the lawyer said, yes. Well, if you can't...
This is the U.S. lawyer?
No,
or the Nigerian lawyer.
So then, if you can't keep or do these things, then it's obvious that he is going to, what's the word? Out of the contract,
exit.
Out of the deal. And we replied and said, there's nothing like a deal in the first place. He, the artist, understands that, yes, there's a verbal conversation, but we haven't signed any contract.
Oh, the buyout clause is what you're talking about.
Okay. So what if you feel that it can't happen? Go ahead and do whatever you want to do. Then she wrote back and said, send us whatever you have spent on him. Let us pay.
Hey.
I said, when you plant a corn, and it gets into the ground, when it comes or it germinates, are you going to get one corn? So I can't even quantify, because we have done a lot for him. All right. However, he's not for sale. I still love him from the first day how I took him. So if you feel that you can take him to where you want to, I mean, we're fine. We release him. You can take him along. And that's the conversation. So we had forgotten. We said, then let's quickly now look for new artists and then start again, because we don't give up. Then I kept on, and I know that she understands if I mention her name. Nana McBrown. She called and said, "Oh, bro, me person be who you can't see me." And I'm saying, "Oh, no, I don't know what it is, but if in whatever it is, I can show up, and I can't."
Nana McBrown.
Yeah. So I thought it was me getting on her show, so she found a very good time to come, and when she came with A+. So I said, "Hey, what is it?" So they entered the studio first, and then they sat down, and I was so happy because I love Nanama to the core. She's always been supportive and all that, A+ as well. Then I see Lasmid and his manager enter. I said, "Hey, wow!"
So you didn't know they were coming.
I had no idea. So Nanama came and said, "Oh, Bright, we know what you have done for these young boys, especially Lasmid. We can all see now he wants to move on. We came to ask." I said, "Oh, we've done this already. Did you have to come all the way here?" I said, "Oh, I love him." I said, "I love him like you love him." So, I mean, let's move on, And so before they left, I said, "Okay, well, maybe I should, has he told you what transpired? Otherwise, the conversation looks like he wants to move on and you don't want him to move on." That conversation, when he goes, then I'll pick a phone and call all the people I know. "Hey, I will never do that. I've never done that before. I will never do that." So Nama said, "Okay, let me hear you." And I narrated this to Nanama. And Nanama said, "Hey, I'm very surprised because I was not expecting this." So she said, "Listen, I can't do anything about this." So we virtually changed the conversation. And then but A+ that he gave it to him, he blasted him. He said, "Listen, if there's a path you want to take." And they asked him again, "Do you still want to go?" His head was bowed down, obviously saying that, "Yes, that's what I want to do." All right. Yeah. And then, okay, so maybe I'd let go. And every time I pray for him, because he is my seed and I want him to grow. Then his manager says, he's giving vote of thanks. I want to. I thought I got this is the end of grow. I want to thank everybody for this, because we are not able to play shows, we are not able to even do anything, but we wanted to finish this thing before we move on. So when he said you are unable to play shows, A+ was like, "Now, and you know how to show, no? Have you checked where the song, who owns the song?" have you checked who owns the song? And to me, moving forward, we moved from the studio knowing that, listen, and that is how the conversation ended.
Wait, so okay. Well, thank you very much for the explanation. I mean, this is the first time I am hearing this.
No, I had to do that because of a lot of listeners. People come into my DMs just to insult me.
Really?
I got somebody who said, why are you praying against young artists who leave your label? And they don't know the inside issues. You understand? Whatever I've said, get Lasmid.
These young guys don't have any respect. Though.
Yes.
You go to Kaywa and insult him.
Yeah. People come into my DMs. But me, I leave you to God. Whatever you say, whatever you insult.
I mean, my boss is out there coming from Enyame. Yeah, say as a body near the out there, but if I have the body say I go view with
come look for you. I don't respond, but I leave them for God.
I don't know highly spiritual CEO. Kaywa and I'm saying and on record it was stated say he never hates Lasmid. As a prophet of God, anytime he prays no bomb payema Lasmid say ni career and konim say ne beya obe blue because Lasmid remains his product or no and make Lasmid who he is today. So it is just right say obe wishing the world. However, no a lot of people and a hint say Lasmid etime a bite finger a feeding it the any possibly one ye and could see any possibly his career could die in no time because we've seen people who were doing so well musically and all of a sudden they faded out. Now so Ebinum Sujidi said purely he is a talent, so he could make a difference. So this is the air course between Kaywa and Lasmid as an update on the recent video I posted here on confusion. I hated the two of them. As it stands now, Kaywa as stated say only Lasmid a free on time. Any update about on this particular story? Vimbas TV so and our way. That's CP.
Vimbas TV.